Next guest, John Navien of the MetLife Premier Client Group has 4 financial resolutions that every Bostonian should make in 2016. John, welcome to Urban Update. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's just get right into it. 4 financial resolutions every Bostonian should make in 2016. Let's take a look at each one. I think we have a graphic we can show you. Here they are. Eliminate credit card debt, start a rainy day fund, make sure you're properly insured, start saving for retirement. Let's start off with eliminating credit card debt.
Sure, and relevant time after the holidays, and a lot of Americans end up building up some credit cards. I think one thing important to take into consideration is if you don't have the money to pay for something today, unless you're bonused or you have variable compensation, not likely that you're going to have the money to pay for it down the road. Holding credit card debt at high interest rates can be detrimental to any financial plan, so be cautious of it, be cognizant of it. Charge cards as opposed to credit cards if you want the points and the miles. Better way to approach it. You can't hold a balance on the card. If you do have a credit card, pay it off every month, and if you don't have the ability to do that, don't put it on the card and maybe pass on the purchase.
Because all you're doing is just continuing to pay more and more interest.
Compounding the problem.
Okay, let's look at number 2 here, starting a rainy day fund.
Life throws curveballs at everyone. Make sure that you have funds available in the event that something goes wrong with your home, there's a health issue that's not covered by insurance, or you need some liquidity to bridge a potential gap that you have in your financial strategy. Don't keep it too lean, and when we talk about rainy day fund, we're not talking about money that is 2 clicks away from moving back into your checking account and incorporating into your budget. We're talking about money that effectively is off limits. In the event that something happens, you're prepared. You don't have to dip into a retirement plan or something that may have penalties that's associated with longer-term savings as opposed to pure liquidity.
They used to say, 6 months? You should have 6 months? Or
6 months savings, certainly 3 at an absolute minimum, but 6 months is a good metric to work through.
Okay, number 3 here. Make sure you are properly insured.
Yeah, not the most riveting topic. I can appreciate that. Sometimes there's plenty of insurance through your employer, so make sure you understand what the group benefits are. That may often be a more efficient and inexpensive way to cover the insurance that you need. But if you have a family, if you have children, if you have a home, a mortgage, again, if something were to happen, not just passing away and needing life insurance, but if something's to happen, you have a disability, you can't work, whether it's a short-term disability or hopefully not, but often a long-term disability, if you don't have that coverage in place, your family's in a tough spot.
You think disability is one of those things that people often overlook?
I think they overlook it. It's unless you're maybe an overly morbid person, it's not something that's exciting to think about, and no one wants to pay for something that they don't think they're ultimately going to use.
I guess what I'm saying is, you have health insurance, you have life insurance, but you don't think about what's sort of the in-between, if you suddenly just couldn't work. I mean, your family would be in a jam.
And it's a great point, and I think the misconception often, Myron, is that I've got the coverage through work, and typically there's some level of baseline coverage through work. I think most people don't take the time to evaluate exactly what that coverage entails and whether it's going to be sufficient in the event that something happens.
Okay. And number 4, start saving for retirement.
Right.
See a lot of those ads for baby boomers on TV too.
Yeah, and who knows where Social Security ends up long term, but even in its current state, it's typically not enough, especially in the Boston area where it's an expensive place to live, to cover all of your retirement. So saving systematically, the bulk of the net worth, within the mean demographic of this country is in 401k plans, and it's in home equity. It's not surprising why that's the case. 401k money comes out of your paycheck every week or two. Once it goes in, it can't come back out. Home equity, you get the mortgage payment, you have to pay it or you get foreclosed on, and once it's inside of the mortgage, it's not readily available to pull right back out. Outside of that, most Americans tend to spend anything above and beyond that, so make sure you have a systematic plan in place for retirement and for education for your children if that's important, or any other mid to long-term goals. Make it systematic, make it part of your savings month in and month out, and think of that savings as a bill, spend what's left over, and don't reverse the final 2 steps. Most people earn income, pay fixed expenses,